Are the Zonai in Breath of the Wild a offshoot of the Sheikah Tribe? Consider this. The monks that we see in Breath of the Wild are Sheikah who use technology powered by blue energy. The Yiga are also Sheikah who use techniques that are powered by a mysterious red energy. Following that, could the Zonai be a group of Sheikah whose magic is powered by a mysterious green energy? Well, I'm going to dive into this topic, so let's get started. I'm Cornelius Belmont, and let's talk about the Sky Sheikah. Thanks for joining me. If you want to see similar content like this, please like and subscribe to the channel. Special thank you to these people for letting me use their assets. Spoilers ahead for the following games. Let's get into it. So I think that the Zonai are a group of Sheikah. Hear me out, this is my reasoning. The Sheikah have a long history in Hyrule, going back even before the events of Skyward Sword. Clearly, when Breath of the Wild came along, the tribe took center stage with the sheer amount of technology we see in it, not to mention the monks and their blue energy source. We also see the Yiga clan, a group of Sheikah who defected to serve the Calamity, and seemingly are able to power their abilities with a mysterious red energy. The Zonai have a connection to green energy as we see from their ruins, and in the trailers to Breath of the Wild too. So if we follow the trend set by the monks and the Yiga, it seems like they too could be Sheikah. Let's delve a little deeper. In a previous episode, I speculated that the three colored energies we see throughout Hyrule are directly connected to parts of the Triforce. Blue energy that we see in Sheikah technology is from the Triforce of Wisdom. Red energy can be seen in Malice and is rooted from the Triforce of Power, who I further speculate is in the possession of Ganondorf. Especially now with the new trailer, it is clear that when Ganondorf uses his power, the color of the energy involved is a pure red, unlike the pinkish black color of Malice. Finally, the Zonai use a lot of luminous stones in their structures, and those stones are believed to contain the spirits of the dead. We also saw that green spiral around Ganondorf, emanating from that presumed Zonai hand sealing his corpse. The new trailer shows us more about this hand, and more specifically, when it combines with our hero Link, we can clearly see that the energy it uses is a solid green. I feel the colored energies in play are now almost certainly connected to the Triforce, though that does leave the question, what is going on with Zelda when she uses her sealing powers? So what does all this have to do with the Sheikah? Well, let's get into that. The exact reason why the fracture in the tribe came about is never clearly explained. We just know that the royal family forced the Sheikah to abandon their technology and to start living mundane lives. A branch of them were very unhappy about this and broke off to become the Yiga clan, dedicating themselves to the Calamity in the process. I think that this fracture had a third branch as well, and they would either become the Zonai or start following the traditions of the barbaric Zonai that we see the runes of in-game. That isn't to say that they also became barbarians, but rather that they would have inherited the spiritual beliefs of the tribe. Those beliefs would have been dedicated to spiritual advancement, with a power source found within the Triforce of Courage. The connection to the aspect of courage can clearly be found in the Zonai territory, with the Shrine of Courage being incorporated into a Zonai ruin. I further speculate that the conflict with the royal family leading to the fracture comes from the Sheikah actively wanting to mess around with the Triforce and the power of the gods directly. After all, it was the Triforce that gave the royal family the means to its supremacy, thousands of years earlier when the kingdom was still forming. Perhaps after the emergence of the first Calamity spoken about in the past of Breath of the Wild, with the overwhelming display of power from the Sheikah technology, the royal family decided that it was done playing around with these powers, and wanted to disarm the technological arsenal. In addition to the creation of the Yiga clan though, the Zonai Sheikah were the ones dedicated to the spiritual use of the Triforce of Courage, and so they too defected from the royal family. Instead of siding with the Calamity out of revenge though, they would disappear into the skies, where they would continue to prepare and dedicate themselves to the Triforce of Courage and the spirit of the hero going forward. Nothing official has been given, but this is what I believe it to be. The arm that we see is perhaps one of the last things the Zonai did before disappearing, and it was used to seal Ganondorf. It could be that this is actually the arm of the last hero, where their spirit and possibly the Triforce of Courage continue to fight the spirit of Ganondorf to keep him from reviving. With over thousands of years of anguish though, the malice would accumulate, like a tumor under a Hyrule, and eventually the Calamity would emerge. Clearly from the trailers, we know that Link and the arm fuse, likely transferring all of those cool Zonai powers to him. The new trailer shows an image where the malice is wrapping around Link's arm. Because of that, it may be possible that the arm is coming to Link as a response, either to save his arm by cleansing the malice, or replacing his arm altogether. The whole corrupted arm thing reminds me of Princess Mononoke, to be honest. It is a pretty interesting way to take the Master Sword away from Link though. As with a corrupted arm, he may not be able to use the Master Sword properly. The Zonai arm coming to Link could be coincidental to Link being the modern hero, but it could also be that it recognizes him as the modern hero, and wants to use him to create a newer version of the past hero in order to fight against and seal Ganondorf. If the Zonai are as old as the Sheikah monks or older, then that would explain some of the powers we see in the new trailer, and their similarity to that of the Sheikah ruins. Now, I looked really closely all over Link's body throughout the trailer, and I could not see the Sheikah slate anywhere on him. This is important because the new trailer shows Link using an ability similar to stasis. I say similar because it is messing around with the time of an object. While this ability showcases an object moving in reverse, the original concept of stasis was that you would freeze an object's time, to then store kinetic energy into it, causing it to fling off when the stasis ended. It's not exactly the same type of an effect, but it is a temporal effect nonetheless. This makes me think that just like the Sheikah with their technology, the Zonai were experimenting with similar types of effects, but using spiritual energy as a power source. And that source again could be the Triforce of Courage. Consider that Koga is able to use abilities similar to magnesis. It seems to me that the Sheikah runes being developed could have variants usable by the two other factions, and so this new ability seen in the new trailer is just the Zonai's version of the stasis rune. We also see a completely new power, the ability to phase through solid matter. Perhaps this is the Zonai's version of teleportation. We will have to wait for another trailer or the release of the game to find out though. So people are talking about our hero's flowing new hairstyle. There has been some attention placed on his exposed arm and chest with the new look. If we compare Link's new toga with the only piece of Zonai fashion that we have access to, the Barbarian armor set, we can see that both outfits have large sections of the body exposed. This allows us to see any Zonai markings on the body, though it is unclear with Link in the new trailer that if these marks along his shoulders and ribs are Zonai marks like in the Barbarian set, or scars from the malice that latched onto his arm earlier. The sash that is a part of his new toga is definitively green. This coloring may end up being a direct reference to the green energy associated with the tribe, or perhaps the spirit of the hero in general. But it could also simply represent a connection to the Triforce of Courage. Much like the blue in the royal family, could easily be a symbol of the Triforce of Wisdom. More importantly though is the shield that he is carrying around in the trailer. This looks like a modified Sheikah symbol. If we take into account that the Yiga have also modified the base symbol, even if it was very lazily done, it seems like another offshoot of the Sheikah would do the same. In this case, it looks like it's the standard eye symbol, but influenced by the general Zonai art style. This is perhaps the most important clue given to us, suggesting that the Zonai are Sheikah. It would make sense for a fractured group of Sheikah to modify their symbol. Even the traditional Sheikah symbol that we are so familiar with may be a modification of an even older symbol that we see in Skyward Sword. This new symbol that we see is very much influenced by general Zonai symbols, even having these little swirls meshed into the sides. Around 10,000 years before the present events in Breath of the Wild, the Sheikah used their impressive technology to aid the princess and the hero in defeating Calamity Ganon. With the situation neutralized, the royal family ordered the Sheikah technology to be buried, and forbade the Sheikah from engaging in technological research. This caused a splinter in the Sheikah, with some forming the Yiga clan, while devoted monks locked themselves away inside their shrines. A third branch of Sheikah splintered off who were more devoted to spiritual powers. Wanting to disengage from the conflict, they would depart to the skies so they could keep watch over Hyrule. Each one of these splinters would use energy from the Triforce as a power source. The Sheikah technology of the royal family would use blue energy from the Triforce of Wisdom. The Yiga would use red energy from the Triforce of Power, a relic that is still in possession of the sealed Ganondorf. And the third splinter, a group of Sheikah modeling themselves after the Zonai, would use green energy from the Triforce of Courage. Over time, the Zonai splinter would adapt the Sheikah eye symbol into a different one to better fit their new tribe. Part of their power would remain in Hyrule, keeping Ganondorf locked away, though a buildup of malice would eventually force action. After defeating the Calamity at the end of Breath of the Wild, Link and Zelda would go on exploring, trying to find the source of the malice, and eventually they would come upon the corpse of Ganondorf being held by the Zonai hand. In the ensuing conflict, Link's arm would become corrupted by malice. The Zonai arm would then bond with his body, either fixing his arm or outright replacing it. This would lead to the Link that we see in the latest Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. Thank you guys for watching the episode. For the time being, I'm going to continue to focus on Zelda theories, but I'm beginning to plan out some Square Enix related theories for the future. If you enjoy my content, please give the video a like and subscribe. That would really mean a lot to me, and it helps the channel grow. See you next time. This is Cornelius Belmont signing out.